Hi, everyone. Carmel Conrad, your Cape Cod psychic here on Cape Cod. It is a thawing day on January 26th here, and it is January. We are almost in the middle of winter. And I wanted to share with you today a ghostbusting event that I was at about 14 years ago. And no, I don't have a proton pack. They won't let me have one yet. Maybe someday, fingers crossed. Hi, Hudson Valley Ghostbusters. You guys rock. In all seriousness, I am a ghostbuster. I do get energies out of homes, and sometimes they are just energies they didn't know they had crossed over, so I help them cross over, and things are beautiful. However, this time, this was as bad as it gets. I was asked to come to the home of some people who had experienced being woken up in the middle of the night and jolted around, and a baby that lived in the house was not doing well. It didn't want to eat much. There was a dog or two in the house, and one dog was very restless and didn't really sleep much at all. And people said it was very cold in their house. So I said, of course I'll come over. So this was extended family of family of family I had taken care of before. And the great thing about this group is they're from Asia. They not only understand spirit, they see it, they know it's real. Spirit for them is not a maybe, it's real. And they had seen dark shadows in the house, and so they'd had enough. So I came over, I brought my things with me as a shaman medicine woman, and I began the process. I set up a medicine wheel in an area and lit a candle to represent life. And then I got busy. And I went to the basement. Basements are cold anyway. So I moved along right through the basement, clear and cleansed all the spaces. And I got to the first floor and cleared the bathrooms, the bedrooms, the kitchen, the garage, the living room. When I was in the living room, they pointed and said, "Look, look up the stairs." And you could see a dark shadow of a person. No doubt about it. It was a dark, almost black shadow running up the stairs. I said, okay, thinking to myself, this is going to be a fight. So I went up the stairs and I got to the first room, and it took a little more effort. And as I went through each room and each closet and each bathroom, it took some effort because I was, in a sense, cornering the spirit into the last room. Now, of course, a window is open to represent energies leaving the house. Spirits don't need windows open, they don't do physical stuff. So I got to the last room and I had to fight because this male energy did not want to leave. It did not want to go. And it had begun to take form. I could see clothes on it. It was very angry. It made me nauseous. I had a headache. I had to work hard. And as I pushed at it, instead of going out of the house, it ran back downstairs to the living room. And you could hear some of the people go, "Oh my God, he's here." So I ran back downstairs and I saw him, and he was in the living room, and I was able to get him in front of the living room window. And I told them, "You can stay or go, but this isn't going to be nice." And they said, "No, no, no, we're staying. We're praying to the Buddhas. We're going to help you do this." And I am so thankful to them for helping me because the headache was almost like somebody was trying to pry my head apart. The nausea was getting to the point where I thought I was going to throw up. And it took another half hour of sacred prayers and chants, and their energy helped, of course. And then he was screaming at me, "I'm not going. I want their energy. I'm not leaving." And I said, "You have to. You can't stay here, and the white light wins all the time. So, whatever your reason for staying, you're not staying in this house." And he was screaming and yelling, "I need their energy. I need to stay here. I can't leave. I killed all those people, and somebody killed me, and I am not leaving." So I said, "Yes, you are." And a few minutes later, I was able to finally push his energy, literally push it through the front window, the front wall of the house. And the window actually bowed out and came back. And you could hear people going, "Oh my God," they were because they could see the wall move. And then he was outside on the street and he screamed. And they heard the scream. Some of the neighbors, as I remember now, actually looked out their doors to see who was screaming. This energy was angry. And, I never look up to see what had happened in the house, and I don't follow the news on purpose for things like this. I keep an eye on the general news. Well, this guy was standing there and he was angry and he tried to get back in the house. And I wrapped the house. I asked the divine spirit to wrap the house. I had someone go out and put a salt circle around the house, and he could not get back in. He could not get back in, and he was screaming and he was angry. So I asked the energies to wrap him in black bands of energy so that he could not get into anybody else's house or take anybody else's powers while he was here on the earth plane. And that's exactly what they did. And his screams became very loud and horrendous for just a little bit, and then they started to get muffled. Some of us could see this like black mist, almost like a black fog in the middle of the road form, and it was there for just a minute or two, and then it was gone, and the energy was gone. The man spirit was gone. What spirit did with him, we don't know, but we do know he was gone. I didn't feel his energy. I fell to the floor. I sat there for a few minutes. They gave me a bottle of water, and I drank that thing down real quick. And then spirit took the pain, physical pain from my body, and I felt much better. And what was really great to see was the dog sat down. For the first time that I'd been there, I was there almost 2 hours, a good hour and a half, 2 hours. The dog just sat down and wasn't moving around the house and pacing. And the baby was quiet and he was kind of looking around at things. And all of a sudden, as I noticed the temperature rising, one of the gentlemen in the house said, "Hey, it's getting warmer in here." And within just a few minutes, the temperature went up 15 degrees. And we talked for a little bit, and I collected my things from the medicine wheel. Thanks, Spirit, for protecting all of us and for the blessings given to me so I could get this energy out of their house. It was very real, very real. 2 years later, they asked me to come back because they noticed a lot of energy moving around the house and the property. And when I got there, and they kept saying, "It seems like people are going through our house, spirits and all, in the backyard." And we looked, and I saw a vortice. And I was told that there was a vortice. There was like a stargate, for lack of a better word, from when people, when their bodies die and their spirits are released, some will go directly into the light, some need a stargate portal to go through the light, and that's what was happening on their property. And I explained this to them. They said, "Oh, that's okay. We're just going to ask everybody not to come through the house to get there, because a spirit, you don't know you're in a house, but kind of maybe go around." I said, "Okay." I said, "There's a lot of animals out here." They said, "Oh, we like the animals. Tell the animals they can stay." So we let the animals stay. And I noticed that the baby had gained some weight and was looking healthy at 2 years old, and other family members were doing well. Now, one of the best things that could happen was 2 years ago, I was asked to go to one of their houses in Dennis, and they said there were some troubling spirits. They wanted to know if I could figure out what was going on. So I went over one day in mid-afternoon, and I was in the basement. It was a split level. Then I went on to the first level and the second level, a little bit of the attic, and got some pesky kind of spirits out. But I also got two spirits who were hanging around, and they were troublesome. They were mischievous, to say the least. They were bothering people. They'd wake them up at night just because they could. And I said to the man, I said, "No, I'm not getting that these two energies are related to you or part of your group." He said, "Oh, no, we have family come over every Sunday or Saturday, and then they have other people come over, and it ends up being a party, and somebody's always yelling and screaming at somebody, and there's always a fight somewhere. Take it outside." I said, "Okay, now that explains everything. So let me tell you what I have." And I told him that these energies were troublemakers. And so I said, "I'm going to have them move on and not come back into your house." And I said, "For you, you may want to talk to your friends, the ones that are the troublesome ones, or the argumentative kind, or whatever." And he said, "Well, one of them's always drunk." I said, "Well, maybe you don't want that person in your house anymore, because that's where one of these energies came from." And the other one came from a guy, described the guy. He goes, "Yeah, he's problems. He always tells people we're having a big party." He said, "I like having people here, but I guess I'm going to have to decide who comes now from now on." And their house was well cleansed. And some kids came through the door, and a woman was with them. And she said, "Hi, do you remember me?" I said, "You look very familiar." She said, "Do you remember the house in Hyannis?" I said, "Yes, I do. You live there." "Yes, this is the baby." And she pointed to her son, who was 12 years old. I said, "Well, he's doing quite well, isn't he?" And she said, "Yes. After you left, he started eating and he just kept eating. It's like he was trying to make up time because of all the few months that he hadn't eaten since he was born. I said, well, I am so glad I could do that for you. And it's really great to see him. And he liked technology. He wanted to do science technology stuff. And that was a couple of years ago. So it was great to see how things had worked out, 10, 12 years down the road. But I am a Ghostbuster. And I would have to say, of all my experiences over the decades, that man's energy was pure evil, dark, and spirit took it. And it's not around to bother anybody anymore. So just want to share a little something with everybody to let you know what I do when I'm not being a college professor and writing the books that I write. I'm a Ghostbuster. So enjoy it, listen to it, do whatever it is, and I'd appreciate your feedback. Take care, stay safe, and stay warm.